These hose connectors are absolutely fantastic. The brass ones are really good and worth the extra money. They are expensive, but they are worth it. The plastic ones are good, but I don't know how many of the tap connectors I've broken over the years just by tripping up on the hose pipe. And this end breaks too. It gets trodden on, gets destroyed. But the brass ones do have their faults. So one day you go to use your hose, and when you go to fasten it on the tap, you find it looks like that. Then you go to where you used it last, and if you're lucky, you find the major components, being the spring and the sleeve. You lose the ball bearings and you lose the little screw. What to do? Well, what I do now when I buy a new tap connector is I remove the little screw, teeny weeny little thing with just barely a thread and a half on it. I've dropped it already. Then I put a blob of Loctite. This is Loctite retainer, but any old Loctite will do. Put a blob of Loctite on the screw and put it back in, and then it stays in forever. Bit of Loctite on the thread and put the thing back together. A permanent answer to a really annoying problem, and why they don't do that when they make them I just can't imagine. So I'm assuming that you've lost at least one of the ball bearings, and I'm assuming that you've lost the little screw. Well, I went on eBay and I bought a packet of 4mm stainless steel ball bearings, packet of 50 for a couple of quid. Well, apparently mountain bikers use them, and that's why they're so cheap. I knew there had to be something good about mountain bikers. Now, you get some grease on your finger, or Vaseline, or beef dripping, or whatever you happen to have. A bit of soap would do, and you put it in the holes like that. Its only purpose being to hold the ball bearing in place. Then you get little ball bearings, slippery little beggars. Put the ball bearings in their holes, being careful not to get any grease in the screw hole. Then you put the spring on, then you put the sleeve on, that lining up the slots. I want it to go on. There we are, lining up the slots. Then you get a 4mm screw, stainless steel screw, as long as you like. Longer the better really, because it's more difficult to lose and you can continue to use the thing. And you put a blob of Loctite on the end of it, and maybe a little bit in the thread as well, just to make sure it gets in there. You screw that 4mm stainless steel rod in until it's just flush with the inside. Then you leave it until the next day and cut it off flush, and then the thing should be good forevermore. Incidentally, if you use an ordinary plain steel screw, it will go rusty and fix itself in there permanently. But I reckon then you've got maybe 10 years before it rusts away and you've got the problem again. Can we see that? Next day all sawn off and ready to use for another goodness knows how many years. The other problem, which is of course common to both the brass ones and the plastic ones, is the O-ring, and it's well worth buying a large packet of those O-rings and keeping them for spares when the things leak. And don't throw these broken plastic ones away, because you can salvage that hose gripper off the end, because they do get lost. All you need to do is saw it off with a hacksaw, and it will work in one of the brass ones. There we are, another little useful thing salvaged for free. I don't think I'll be needing a hose pipe today though.